How you going, mate? You all right?
Absolutely fantastic, man. I'm looking forward to this chat. Shame that young Steve can't join us.
Yeah, it's a
But
shame. It sounds like you had a bit of bit of a drama to sort out. So, um, involving a plumber. So hopefully he's doing all right, which is all
fingers
good.
crossed, eh?
But yeah, no, I've been looking forward to the chat. It was real weird, man. I don't know what I was thinking. Steve threw me off yesterday. He goes, "Oh, we're doing the chat this week," and because he was going to be late, with his family coming home, and
Yeah.
um, And then I just got into my head, oh yeah, yeah, it's today. And so I set everything up and I was like, oh yeah, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. And then I was sitting in my room, like I started the meeting and I was sitting there for about 25 minutes. And
Oh,
then,
you're already in it.
yeah, I was waiting for you guys to turn up. I was like, oh, they can't be too far away. And then Steve messaged me, goes, the meeting's tomorrow, isn't it? I'm like, fuck, what day is it? It's like, oh, it's only Tuesday. I was like, I felt like such a dickhead. I wasn't even going to tell anybody, but I told somebody at work today. And I
Well,
told
okay,
Tish,
mate. Look, no one will know. No one will know. I mean, millions of people around the world listening to the podcast will know. But apart from that,
yeah, oh, fuck, I felt like a dickhead, eh? That was no good. But that's okay, man. How's the new gym coming along, all right? Getting closer?
yeah, it's getting there. Doing lots of painting. Stuff's progressing.
Yeah,
So still slowly. I'd rather have it move faster, but that's because I don't really have any patience.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Um,
need to be in there. So,
can I
but
come and
yeah,
have a bit of a look when we're up in a week or so? A couple of weeks?
yeah, possibly.
Yeah, sweet.
I'm not because I don't know if anyone will be there. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
but no, we can show you around Sunday morning. What time do you leave Sunday morning?
Oh, I think it's like real early, like 6 o'clock. That's all right. I'll just wait till another time.
Yeah, yeah. Wait till it actually looks like something presentable and still instead of a construction site that's full of lots and lots of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Oh, that's fucking cool though, eh? I can't wait to have a
oh,
look when it's all done.
I'm hanging out for it.
Yeah,
Absolutely hanging out for it.
yeah. And how's
So,
all your fighters looking for your show? They're coming along pretty good.
yeah, mate, show's gonna be absolutely massive. We're probably gonna start a bit earlier. So I'll probably have first fight at 5:45. I just got to confirm that tomorrow because we've got such a stacked card.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big
Um,
card, eh? A couple of title fights, a pro fight. You got some really
yeah,
good matches from what I've seen.
two New Zealand titles with Beverly and Britt, and then
Yeah,
we've got Zion versus DJ. That's going to be an absolute cracker match as well.
yeah. I
And
was
then
glad you're able to get a match with Zion. That's good.
yeah, it's always hard when people like 60 or under. There's just less people around,
Yeah,
and he's a wonderful fighter. And DJ's a weapon.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, that'd be
then I've
cool, eh?
got Long Mai and Caitlin. That's going to be a fantastic fight. It's 5 threes.
Yeah.
And then Marcus and Keo. That's 3 threes full tie. So it's a very, very stacked card with lots of fights
Actually,
and lots of
watching a couple of Marcus's fights the other day. I was
fight.
just through stuff on YouTube. It was I was looking at a fight. I was looking at the fight from when Britt fought Levi.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um, and I was just having a bit of a look at that, and there was Marcus's. It might have been like his first or second fight or something like that popped up. Just
That
it
was
was
his
on a
first
play.
fight.
It
Yeah.
was really he's got the real good shape for a Thai fighter. Eh? Like lean and he's quite muscular.
Yeah. That was his first fight because it's always a difficult decision when you've got someone who's been training for a while. I sometimes I don't like to put them into a pad fight. I feel like it's a bit
Mm.
unfair. I mean, if you've got somebody who's been training for 4 years put into a pad fight, I'm like, well, why not just have a full fight?
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
fight? Like, what do you want to do? Wait for 30 years so you
yeah,
look really good
yeah.
in the much. So for Marcus, we threw him straight in at the deep end against a guy with oh, I can't remember the guy's name now. But I think he had 2 fights already.
Oh, right,
So he was going so it was quite a big start for him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, oh, that's cool. That's cool. You know, that's looking like a pretty good show. There's actually fucking heaps going on at the moment, eh? There's heaps to talk about tonight. I've got a bit to talk about,
Yeah.
but I'm going to try and
Yes.
keep it pretty quick, like 35 minutes. But
Mate, yeah, well, easy. Let's go. You
Queen
lead
of
the way.
Me, that's this weekend, and that's been really well advertised. Brent
Yep.
does a really good job with his promotion of that show. Like he's pretty
Yeah.
pretty good on Instagram and stuff like that, and it's looking like a pretty good card.
What's
The
your pick on the night on there? What fights are you excited by?
I'm really excited about Tara Teakle fighting. Nat Mackey from
Yes,
Rangatoa Aotearoa.
yes,
Um,
very good.
because Nat's a pretty, she doesn't fight that often. Like she fought Asher a few years ago, like
Yeah,
2017 maybe. They had a really
yeah,
good scrap. It was a split decision. And Asher's a
yeah,
fairly, that was when Asher was fighting light, but
yeah.
Nat's pretty tough. And also her sister, Ihipeta, she, I think, no, not sister, sorry, but they're from the same gym mate of me.
Yeah.
She's fighting Capri Loney as well in the main event. And both those
Oh,
fights,
good.
Tara's fight and Capri's fight, they're both full Thai rules. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So I'm really looking forward to them. But Tommy at Evolution, he's got that young girl Yelena Parks, and I think she's
Yes.
had a couple of wins. And she fights pretty light. I think it's like maybe 61 or something like that, maybe 62, might be a
Okay.
bit lighter. But she's fighting Adrian Masters Singh from the Combat Centre. So she'll be obviously from Vinny's gym. So that could be a pretty interesting match because they're two really different styles. Um,
Yeah. Totally.
so that could be pretty interesting, I think. Have you seen much of the card?
No, no, I haven't actually. I'm looking online as we talk, trying to pull it up, and I don't quite know where to look for it, sadly.
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
think that'd be pretty awesome. He's on Queen of Mean on Instagram and that as well.
yeah.
But so there's still tickets available for that through Eventbrite. So just go into Eventbrite and look up Queen of Mean, and you'll be able to get some tickets. I'd imagine it'll sell out, especially because last year that last Queen of Mean was that first of the trilogy with Wendy Talbot and Michaela, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It
Yeah.
was because they fought there, and then they fought in Christchurch or somewhere, and then they fought again for the third time. Um, that was a mean scrap. So that's always a good show. So there'll be pretty good fights, full tie.
Yeah, that's a bit
It's exciting
Tauranga.
seeing those Mackie girls back on the scene a wee bit, because they're a good
Absolutely.
fighting family. There must be four or five of them, I think, is there that fight or have
There's
fought?
been quite a few over the years.
And then
Quite,
the daughters
yeah,
and that as well have all been good fighters. So
yeah,
and of course, Sam Parks, he's from up there, eh? Is that one
yep.
king in the
Sam's from
ring?
far away. Yep.
Yeah. So they've got a
Sam's released. He should be
pretty
coming back this
strong
year.
team. Um, well coached. So that'd be pretty cool. It'd be good to see them both fighting together as well. I think I saw a few years ago Quinita Haiti and I like to say Waitohu did a tag team with Mel Mackey and I think it might have been Ida Pera, but I'm not too sure. That it might have been
Yeah,
Nat as well. I'm not too sure, but it was like 1 minute on, 1 minute on. So these two fought it this way,
yeah,
these two fought it this way. It was a fucking cool fight.
yeah. Got tag teams are really exciting. There's so many different ways of doing them.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, like the way that I really enjoy is the way they do it in Aussie,
yeah,
which is when you tag, they get switched around. So
yeah,
if me and you are fighting, I tag my teammate.
yeah,
You're not going to tag your teammate, and we swap around. So
yeah,
then, if you want to get tag your teammate, you got to fight through me.
yeah, yeah.
Quite exciting. They are an
Pretty.
absolute nightmare to judge because they're so frantic.
Yeah, they are hard work, eh?
But they are bloody fantastic to watch.
Hard work.
So
I'm actually looking. I meant to say before, Tom. I'm looking forward to seeing what Tara Teakle does because she's just out with Mel Dykes now.
yes,
With they're training
it's
under
one man.
Wahine Toa, and I think that'd be good because Tara's been with Mel for quite a while. She seems to be growing as a fighter, I think. So, um,
Absolutely.
I'm really glad that they're out there getting that done too. I'm glad that Mel's out there getting her, training somebody into such a good position because Mel was around for a long time as well. Great, good coach.
Yeah, no, Mel's awesome, eh?
Yes, I think that'll be an interesting couple of styles, because having Mel Dykes coaching against Mel Mackey, because they've both, been around those circles with each other for a long, long time. So they sort of, it's
Yeah.
almost like having inside knowledge. Eh? They're so close as well as mates and that, I think so. Um, out the gate. But
What, my friend? What else is on the agenda for discussion today?
um, before I forget, Richie Hardcore is doing another level up workshop for New Zealand coaches and stuff like that. They've got
Yeah.
Carl Van Roon, Mark Timms, Richie himself, and Peter Thorburn. They're teaching like new skills for fighting in the ring or in the cage or whatever, as well as knowing how to deal with like real hard issues and stuff that coaches sometimes have to come across with their students and things like that. So it's looking like it's pretty good. Tickets for that again, they're on Eventbrite. It's R13, so you've got to be over 13 years just because I think some of the content. Um,
That's
run
in
by the,
Christchurch, is it correct?
pardon? No, it's
In
in Auckland.
Christchurch.
This one's in Auckland on the
Okay, cool.
24th of September, 10
Yeah.
a.m. It's at Ben Rowan's gym, wherever that is. Is that one of the martial arts gyms or something up there?
Yeah, yeah, he's got
Um,
his own gym. It's really nicely decked out.
yeah, it
I
is.
went to one of these level up seminars before, and they are absolutely phenomenal. Um, you come away with some really good coaching knowledge
Yeah.
and with some really, really good um, lessons. But the other stuff around mental health and drug awareness and everything else, Peter Thorwin was fantastic. Richie was absolutely fantastic. So it's a very interesting dynamic where you've got the fighting side
Mm.
of it, and then you've got seminars on mental health, drug awareness, and other stuff. And it's one of the best things I've done in a long time. So I would thoroughly, thoroughly recommend it if you're able to make it.
Yeah, because like Rishi's been doing some awesome stuff. Like he's just been through Aussie, and he had those all those big schools and that over there, and what the recommendations and that sent back through about how good it was. It's just amazing. Like, I know he had one in Christchurch. He had some coaches along there, and that he's done a few of them.
Yeah,
Apparently, they are really good. We were away at fights last time he had the one in Christchurch. I missed it, but yeah, I'd love to go to pick up with it. So I think that'd be definitely a cool thing to go and do. That's run by the Rise Above Charitable Trust, so
yeah.
it probably helps those guys out heaps. So yeah, if you're in Auckland on the 24th of September, you can get along and go onto them and get some tickets where you can. So that's pretty cool. I wanted to start a new thing, and I wanted to
Yeah.
just make things kind of fun for
New
like it's like
section.
a
Go,
5 minute
go.
thing, yeah. And like have our own
5 minute
each week have a
rants.
hot topic.
Not the rants, you're going to call them.
You know what?
The pink of New Zealand. The pink of New Zealand Muay Thai.
Yeah, yeah, like a hot topic. And I've got one that I think that doing it we should see what's upsetting people or something like that, or what's been real good and just like really just give our opinion on it. Doesn't mean that we're right or wrong. It's just
Yeah.
our opinion, so not trying to dictate anything. But the first one that I've brought up that I've sent through to you is on the New Zealand Muay Thai forums the other day. There was a post was put up about a 21-year-old that had fought a 14-year-old
Yeah, that's correct.
in,
That
a, in
happened
a
up in
show.
Auckland.
When I read the post, I sort of read it twice because I was sort of like, oh, I mean, I've done it. Like I've matched a kid one time. I think he was 15 or 16 with a kid that I thought was supposed to be 19, but it turned out he was over that. He's like 21. And although they were both the
Yeah.
same weight and stuff like that, the power difference was just crazy. And we ended up, the fight started, but we just stopped it. It was just too big a difference. So we're just like, right, our boy wasn't knocked out or hurt or anything, but and he was thrown back real hard. But and obviously he had good hands. But it was only supposed to be like a open sort of sparring kind of jam, like non-forward kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that was stupid. And I was just like, oh, I hadn't done it before, and then was never do it again. But these boys, this was a sanctioned show, and it's no disrespect, obviously, to the sanction because didn't really know what was going on either. But I'm just like, whose responsibility is it? Like, I've seen the fight, I've seen part of the fight, I've seen the video of the fight, and and there was a massive difference in power. Like it was really obvious, especially in the clinch. Um, yeah, whose responsibility is it? You know, like we've obviously got two coaches involved. We've got the promoter and we've got the sanctioning body, but we've also got medics who would have been checking dates of birth. You know, like I'm
Well,
not too sure who
medics
refed it, but I mean, surely you would
don't
see.
necessarily check dates of birth. In all fairness, medics just basically check if you're fit to fight, and there's not a
Yeah,
lot of medics do in a pre-fight check. They can
mm,
do a few things.
yeah, and I
Um,
guess they're probably not to realise that everybody goes in a different order. So it's sort of, you know what I mean? Like you can't,
yeah,
you
yeah.
might
So,
go and
so,
get
so a
yours
medic
done.
would pick it up,
Yeah, you
but
know,
the sanctioning body involved has rules around age differences for
yeah,
juniors.
and I think there's this 2 years, isn't it?
Normally, it's approximately 2 years. There's a few variances on that. Yeah. So 7 years is a lot. It's a shame that Steve couldn't make it today. So Steve is a young adult or young teen. From memory, when he was 15, he was fighting fully grown adults. And I think his first fight, I think he was 14 or 15, and Steve will correct us on this if I'm wrong. And he won by knockout. So it's a very interesting topic. My view on junior fights is a little bit different. I just don't like them. I don't like kids fighting under 16. I don't think they're fully developed. I don't really see the point. Um, so we don't have them on our shows very often. If we do, we try to match them as carefully as possible. The main problem with juniors or under 18 is you normally match somebody on weight and experience. When you have juniors, there's another factor to involve, which is age. But then there's a fourth factor that's not talked about. And the fourth factor is how mature their body is. So we all know that there's scrawny little runty 14-year-olds. Then there's 14-year-olds who are the same weight, but they're like solid muscles and tanks. So they could theoretically have the same experience, be the same weight, but it's not a fair match in terms of physicality. Now, once you hit the adult range of 18 and up, it's fair game. If you're not
Yeah,
fully grown, then you're not. So that's one of the main problems I have with junior fights. I like the idea if there's no heat contact, but otherwise I'm not a huge fan of seeing kids fight in all honesty, especially when they get injured.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like obviously a lot of kids that have fought, and
Hmm.
it is cool to see them have a go at it and that, but you are kind of right. It doesn't. It's they do get knocked around. I know there's a lot of not head contact, but they still get whipped around and stuff like that. And,
Yeah, it depends what age the heat contact starts at and what rules they're fighting under.
yeah, yeah, it's also good to see them go for it too, because you know you see some kids that are, you're right. I agree. You know, like if they weren't fighting until they were over 16, then that's different. But you know, like in this case, I'm just like, how did it sort of get? You know, like what's the conversation that goes on here? You know,
No idea. No
like
idea.
I don't know who the kid is. I don't know what gyms that were involved or anything like that. I obviously know where the show is because on the video you can see where it's all across. But we've got a referee in there, and I don't know whether he's to know or not either. You know, he's just in there. But it really comes down to the promoter and the coach, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting my 21-year old against a 14-year-old. I just wouldn't
Like
feel
I know they
comfortable
can be the
doing.
same weight, and you look at them in the video and they are very similar size, you know, and the weight and that, and they're fighting obviously the chest gear and all that kind of stuff on. So it's obviously um, some sort of rule set, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like youth rules, like if they're like that, you know. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's
I
when
just
it's
don't think
padded.
it's. I just don't think that that's getting thought about. You know, like I don't know whether there's any deeper. There's definitely going to be a power difference. And like when I started fighting, I was fighting guys in their 20s then as well. We didn't get that much opportunity. Like we'd only get a fight a year, maybe two. You know, so
Mm.
you just sort of fought who came along. Um, but when you're even sparring at the gym and you're sparring someone that's a teenager that is the same weight as you, it is different. You know what I mean? Like it is different. There's a different power. There's a whole different sort of power.
Absolutely.
So,
So, different question. Thumbs up, thumbs down from Scott and the 14 versus 21-year-old.
no, thumbs down. Thumbs down for me.
Yeah, mate. I agree. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
I think that there's good points. Like I know um, someone commented on there about something with boxing. You know, some didn't start boxing until 16, and there was a good how that worked, and it seemed like it made a lot of sense. But do you know what else I reckon we're fucking lacking? And that's fighter books. Like, you know, you go to the fight show in Aussie, they've got it. You go to the fight show, you do your weigh in, you get your fight book, you give it to them. It's got all your results put in it. So if you've got any head injuries or any of that kind of stuff for all your fights, and if you don't have it, you don't fight. Simple.
Yeah, so fighter books, the idea has been around for a long time. We
Yeah.
used to have them in New Zealand a long time ago. Then the problem is that people would turn up without them, or the records would be incomplete. Essentially, for a fighter book to work, you need an overarching um, structure and
Yeah.
regulation. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. You go to one show, they don't have them. Different sanctioning bodies don't use them. It becomes a nightmare. So Aussies are very, very different.
Yeah, I guess that they've got like an actual proper board, don't they? Like,
It have to be highly regulated for the fighter book to work. And one of the advantages we have in New Zealand is the fact that everyone does their own thing, which means we can all achieve and succeed and kind of live our own dreams. Well, the
mm,
disadvantage of that is it means that every now and again you get some people doing stuff that really shouldn't be done.
yeah. Yeah. No,
Topic, my
I
friend.
just think like it's fucking really growing at the moment in New Zealand. Like, it's been really big, and you know, with all the access to like one championship and RWS, and, you know, it's so easy to watch the Aussie shows or the UK shows or whatever you want. You know, but we surely we get to somewhere where we've got something like really work together and make things improve. Like if you said, why don't we bring out fighter books? Surely,
If you
but
bring out fighter
just
books,
make it a thing like
you
having to get your medical. There's nothing even around to say that you have to have medical.
yeah, but at least everyone's pretty much onto it with that. The fighter books thing, it's been tried a few times and it falls over because it's not highly regulated. You know, I don't see any problem with it.
Yeah,
I
I
think
guess I see what you mean. I see
it
what you
works
mean.
if everybody
Yeah, someone's got
is
to look
in.
after it, don't they? It's like, well, we do these book, but who's actually keeping an eye on it?
Yeah, and then you had things when they did have them, they would cost $25 for a fighter book, which is fine. And then fighters would turn up without them. Then the promoter's stuck where they can either give them a new fighter book and pay $25 or not have one. You can end up just
Yeah, I
giving
see
out.
what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's a lovely idea, but for it to work, you need quite a high level of regulation.
Oh, that's all
Okay,
good. Um,
let's move on. What's up next? What's up next?
next, did you see any of the TMT show? Did you see any of those four men?
Yes, I saw some of them.
Yeah, I didn't see
Um,
much. I've only seen bits and pieces. I like so. Titus won the four man.
yeah, the two four men. Yep,
Yeah, there's
Titus
two four
one.
men. So he won that. Who won the 62s?
Now that's a very good question. So the first question is, if somebody fails to make weight for a four man, should they be allowed to enter?
Oh no, they should be disqualified, shouldn't they?
Well, I suppose you can look at it two ways. So you got four people,
Hmm.
one of them's overweight. The way I'd run it is I say, look, you haven't made weight, it's unfair. I just do a three man. You draw a random name out of the hat, that name goes straight to the final. The other two
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
It's,
I think that's all. Like, there's been a couple of shows where that's happened, and that's what they've done.
well,
Um,
that's all you can do. What they did in this case was they let the fighter fight, and they took a point off in the first fight. I don't know if they took a point off in the second fight. So it caused all sorts of dramas. And to me, it makes no sense if you have a 62-kilo four man, or whatever the weight was. I think it was 62 kilos. And if someone comes in at 63 or 63 and a half, I think maybe even 64, why would you let them fight? They haven't made the
he
entry.
was 2 kilos over.
I'm not sure. I think he was 1.5, but I'm
Who
not
was
100%.
it?
The guy who won.
Oh,
So
so
yeah, somebody who won who
how did
didn't
the
make weight won a four-man. And it's like I find that quite weird.
yeah, yeah. So how
You
did it all pan out? How did it pan out? So I don't know. I haven't seen much of what happened on the show.
he won his first fight in a highly controversial fight. I haven't seen it. I'm trying to watch it. So if anyone's got it, please post it down below. And then he won the final. I don't know anything about the final.
Yeah.
Um,
So who were the two semis? Like, do you know who was fighting who or what? Whatever.
I can't remember the guy's name. He's from TMAA.
Yeah, I might have
Kind of
written down.
wild
Because
against him.
Corey was in there, eh?
Beg your pardon?
Corey was in there.
Yeah, so Corey fought in his first fight, and there's a lot of people saying it was a very interesting decision. So if you have that fight, we would love to see it. It didn't make a good rematch. Um,
Was it kickboxing or Muay Thai?
um, I I don't know if it was K1 or Glory Rules.
Oh yeah, yeah, I see. Yeah,
Anyone who doesn't know Glory Rules, Glory Rules are kind of a hybrid between K1 and Muay Thai, where they have limited clinching for, I think it's normally 6 seconds, but you only have to do straight knees, and it's got to be action, 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 action. So if it stops for half a second, they break. There's no spinning and no throwing. So it's another weird rule set. It's interesting because the Glory rule set is quite fixed, whereas the K1 rule set there's quite a few different versions of the K1 rule set. So when people say K1, you've still got to find out what the rules are. For example, King in the Ring K1, you're allowed to clinch with two hands and do one knee, then release and go. And I think one hand is unlimited knees. I could be wrong on that.
oh,
Whereas a lot of K1 around the world, you're not allowed to grab at all, not even one hand.
yeah,
So when people say K1, it's the rule set. If you
broad
ask me,
term.
what
Yeah,
the rules are. Yeah, it was a very broad term of rules, whereas glory is normally quite well understood because it's a
yeah, I see
specific
what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
high is as well.
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's cool.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what. So I don't know what happened with that whole four man, but it sounds like there's a bit of drama.
Yes, yeah. The other four man with Titus and
Alex Richings was in it, eh?
yeah, yeah, Titus stopped Alex in that fight.
Oh, was
Um,
that in the first one or in the final?
oh, was that the first one or the second one? I think it was the first one,
Yeah,
and then Titus won the final. And
because
yeah, that was
that's right. Because their boy from Manawatoa was there, eh?
oh Jake.
Yeah,
You look at so Jake's amazing. So this four man was at 74 kilos, and Jake's previous fight to this, he won against Toss. Toss is an 82 kilo New Zealand champion who's phenomenal. So Jake is, if you want to watch anyone fight, he's called the Angry Redhead.
yeah, he's a very good fighter.
There's two reasons for that. One, he's very angry, and two, he's a redhead.
Mm. Yeah, fuck it. He's a fucking really talented fighter, eh? He
Oh,
can't be that old either, is he? He must be. He
he's
must
quite
be about
young.
due
He's
to.
been fighting for quite a long time, but he's absolutely awesome. So that four man was brilliant.
Yeah,
Um, oh, the other fight that was really, really interesting was Travis and I can never pronounce his name correctly.
AJ.
No, Towson. Towson.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Apologies for mispronouncing your name. That was really good. So um, that was a mod tie
Mm.
rules fight. And man, that fight was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris today and Chris Sampson, and
Yeah.
I was talking to him about it. He goes, yeah, it was. He said it was a pretty hard fight. He wasn't quite. He'd been away for a while, and I think he'd been over the worlds and he'd been quite successful over there, and so he said he came back into it and thinking, you know, I don't know whether he underestimated, but Chris said it was definitely a pretty hard fight for him. You know, a pretty hard fight. So, but he's only a young fellow. Like he's only 21. Chris was saying, so he's got a big future.
Oh, they both have, eh? So I'm gonna try this again. Helium Tesfa. I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher the name. But he was phenomenal. He was absolutely phenomenal. He what was really interesting, it's the first time I've ever seen Travis outclinched.
Oh, really?
And Halem threw him. It was magnificent. It was a really, really exciting fight. Um, it was great. So rounds 2 and 3 were definitely Halem's. Round 1 was a bit closer, and it was a great fight. It'd be another great rematch. I, I I think it was one of those fights where looking to go. Travis is really good. Maybe just needs a bit more experience. I think Halem's had, I'm going to say 30 odd fights. He's fought internationally.
Yeah, he has had quite a few fights. So he's cool to watch, man.
He's great. He's got a really good style. You
They've
know,
always got a
it's
real good vibe, those dudes too, eh? Like they come out of like King's Academy and they always been a real cool crowd and they always just like having a real blast in that, eh? They're a pretty awesome bunch.
100%.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Oh, sweet as. Oh, so who was the final of that full man?
It was Titus versus Jake.
Oh, it was too, yeah, yeah. That would have
Yeah.
been a cracker of a fight then.
Yeah, you can watch it on South Island League's page.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So I watched them there live. They had that fight and the Alex versus Titus fight.
Oh, nice.
And
Just Titus is a
I think we
fucking
got the
beast,
Travis
man.
fight up there as well. Actually. I think the Travis fight's up there as well.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wicked.
they're both well worth watching.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that. Because Titus fought on Vendetta last October. He fought Zane Nuttall for the he's got the AMTA title.
Yeah.
Um,
Titus is just getting stronger all the time.
yeah, he
All the
was
time.
strong in that performance, so I could just imagine. It's fucking
Yeah.
exciting, these young dudes, eh? They're just so skilled.
No, there's so much depth now and so much more opportunity. We just need to really all push the sport and just go because
Yeah,
it's,
because
it's
these young guys that are coming through now, like they've been in the junior ranks for a long time and they've had a fucking heap of fights and a lot of
Mm.
experience, a lot of training for a long time. So to see them popping up now professionally would be like
Yes. So, question of the day: what fights do you want to see matched now?
at the moment, can
Yeah,
I
pick
include
anything.
anybody?
Absolutely. Jacinda
Um,
versus Demi Hooker if you want, up to you.
I'd like to see. I was thinking about it the other day. I'd really like to see Lucas and maybe Rob Horrocks full tie.
There'd be a cracker fight. There'd be
Yeah, I
an
think that I know Rob is very, very strong, and he's a bit older, obviously. And Lucas is just a young fella, but Lucas obviously king in the ring now. Um, it
yeah,
might be a
that'd be a
little
great.
bit heavy for it might be a little bit heavy for Lucas, maybe, but if they could
That'd be
do
a
like
great fight.
63 and a half or something like that, I think that'd be a really good fight. Um,
That'd be a great fight. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but there's also that kid Spain. I don't know if you saw him, but there's a kid Spain that fought on Muay Thai League um, over the weekend. He fought it.
Brandon Spain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I've followed him since he was like
yeah.
that.
I've been
Yeah, he's
watching
been
him a
around
bit
for a
lately, and I
while.
know he had a fucking banger of a fight the other night. Um,
Yeah, so he went into that fight. For those of you who don't know, he went into that fight with a massive gash on his forehead that he got during training. They had to stitch it up, so he went in with like a massive gash before the fight.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fucking
And
maniac.
he's one of the most exciting fighters around.
Yeah. I reckon that too, and I reckon what weight is he at?
Oh, he's in the 70s, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
I was
yeah,
thinking him against some of those guys, like some of those young fellas that are coming through that are real hard hitters with real good chins. He might be
yeah,
quite good to bring over. I reckon he'd be a good one to bring over for a show. Eh?
Mate,
That Muay
he's
Thai League, I don't know if you saw it, but that Muay Thai League show was fucking phenomenal. I watched
no,
it the other night with the live stream and fucking amazing, like really good matches. It was fucking cool, and I like what they're doing because they bring back the same fighters each time. You know, if they go real good and that they sort of come back again, and they're quite supportive of those people coming over, and they're doing pretty big things. So, and they've got a
absolutely.
massive gym too. Like they've got that's double dose, and
Yeah,
they've grown that gym up to like 400 members. I think I remember listening to a podcast on it a couple of years ago. I was
yeah. Benji and is it
like,
Nakia?
yeah,
Right, yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
forget. I think I butchered every single name I've pronounced this week so far.
That's all good. That's all good. Oh, that's sweet. That's what's on for you for the rest of the week.
Actually, before we go, like the fight I'd love to see. So this fight
Oh,
was supposed
yes.
to happen. I'm not fully sure why it didn't. I don't think it's ever announced, but Travis and Jono Anderson,
Yeah,
that would be a sick fight. Obviously, full time rules, 5 threes.
yeah.
That would be absolutely the bees bollocks.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be a good fight. They're two very similar styles, Well, not real similar, actually. Not real similar, but very similar builds and reach and everything like that. And their skill sets are both quite high. Is probably what I should have meant.
absolutely. I think that'll be a wonderful fight, eh?
Because Jono's been quite active,
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he wants to fight again before the end of the year. And
Hmm.
he's well worth watching. He's very exciting fighter to
Yeah,
watch.
he is, Yeah, he is. And he like, fuck, man, he can promote himself quite well as well, So, um,
100%.
yeah, what about girls? What's a female fight you really want to see?
I'll circle back on that. I'll circle back on that because there's quite a few at the moment, but I'll come back to you next week on that one.
Yeah, okay, that gives me something to think about. Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, well, sweet as bro. We'll catch up again soon then, shall we?
100%. Thanks very much for everyone listening. Shows coming up. We've got Capital Punishment on July 23. We've so far got around about 20 fights. Two New Zealand titles. We've got the pro fight. We got I rolled 3 times 3. It's going to be fully sick. What other shows do we need to plug, Scott?
Queen of Means this weekend. Richie Hardcore's seminar
Level.
that he's doing
Yep.
on the every day it was the 26th, I think.
Next week we're going to write this shit down so we can look more professional. We'll
Yeah,
chuck it in
yeah, definitely.
the
But no, that's it. So good luck
Put
to
some
everybody
links up in the
fighting.
notes, guys.
Yeah, sweet. See you later,
All
bro.
right. Okay. Cool.